but I do want to hear about the Muvaland series and how this all came together.
Let me see. Okay, so picking up from that conversation with Greg. So at some point, like, Contessa was like, "Oh yeah, you heard my roommate Cakes," and I was like, "Oh wait, I've heard of him. Like, you should bring him to the studio." So he came to the studio, and it's like, "Hey, what's up?" And like, I gave him a couple beats, and like, just ended up like getting a song on like his out. I think I did like the final track on his first, not his mixtape, his first like album, and then we did like I think 1 or 2 singles after that, and then that was all like just kind of hip hop stuff.
Yeah,
and then I had been bothering him to do house music for like, because I do like mainly house music.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should do a house song. And he's like, yeah, sure.
And honestly, like, way to be right though, because holy shit, like, energy on a fucking house track, like.
Oh yeah.
So did you, over quarantine, did you work together on this? Were you able to actually be in the studio together? Were you guys potted up? Like, how did it start?
Well, I was like, come by, because like I don't like sending people beats, because it's like you get this weird thing of like, you send somebody 10 beats, it's like, well, they just have your beats now, you know. It's like, and it's like if you give to somebody else, they're just like, and they record, and you're like, what the hell? I gave you these beats, but you're like, yeah, but you like never hit me back. Like, rappers never hit me back, so it's like, oh, you just committed to like not giving that music to anybody else for like 3 months. So I'm always like, come over, I'll make snacks and just like listen to stuff.
There you go. Lure them with your chef skills.
Yeah, exactly. So he came over and we went through like 50 beats and we did them all. And then the last thing, I read it. My girlfriend just. But Kat says hi. And so the last thing I played him was I just made like a Todd Terry album. Like the night before, it was literally like Todd Terry experiment. It was like 30 seconds, and he was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And I was like, "Oh, this would have been so easy, much easier if I had led with that 45 minutes ago."
Right? Oh my god! It's good that Cakes' ears weren't totally blasted. That he was even listening to anything. Like, I feel like after 50 beats, I'd be like,
yeah.
But I guess that's why I'm not, a professional musician.
Yeah, I guess so. But and then it was like, so yeah, we did.
And that was that Don Dada?
Yeah.
It was, yeah.
That was Don Dada, yeah.
Great way to start. I would follow up with that too if I made that song. Yeah. What would you say is the spirit of Muvaland? What I love that it's not over. Did you make all these songs kind of in one go and then you broke it up into 2 pieces, or is this something that is a continuing story? Are we perhaps going to get more Muvalands?
It was 2 goes. We did the first EP. We did the first. The first EP happened like really quick. Like, it was spread out over a month because like. Like he came by the first time, I think, like 3 weeks into the lockdown, and then it was like, yeah, I'm ready to record whatever. And then I think I had to go out of town for some reason or other, and then it was just like, oh no, it was that point where like you didn't know what was up with COVID. It was just like, oh, I don't know if it takes over, I don't know if it's over there, whatever.
I know.
Yeah. So I kept just making more beats like that, sending to him, and then finally it was like, okay. I went and got a COVID test. You went and got a COVID test. Come over and record. Just recorded like the whole thing in like I think an afternoon or two.
Really? That must have been some afternoon.
I think ICU. We had to we did that one separate. That was the last one, and then we was like, we need one more. And I was like, okay, I'll do ICU, and then we had to wait for no. But I think start to finish maybe 6 weeks, but I think the whole thing came together.
I'm laughing because it only just now, in this context of talking about COVID quarantine and everything, that I see you as a track name has so much more weight to it than I was just like, oh, I see you, thank you. And I'm like, oh fuck. It was like the thick of COVID. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you remember specifically about that afternoon? I can't believe that you did it all in one afternoon, because I can only imagine were you just bouncing off of the walls, the 2 of you? It feels so high energy to listen to have been there. I mean,
it's weird when I record stuff. I don't know if it's good or not.
Yeah, that's fair.
And I do it. So I was just like, So like he just recorded it, and then he's like a big White Claw drinker in the studio. So like
can't bring him to the record collection then.
yeah. So I remember it was about a 4 White Claw session, and then
Amazing.
he started to get really into it around the 4th White Claw. So I was like, I remember like the last one was Muvaland, and it's like he might have been a little too drunk for that one.
Oh.
But then it worked out. But then I like put all the effects on, and I was like, oh no, what's that?
Honestly, I believe that. You know how many great records throughout history, especially in like 70s rock era or like the funk, there's no way people weren't just like way too fucked up on a recording and they're just like, well, now it's a classic. So. Now
it's a classic, yeah.
And Volume 2 is a kind of, you made that post lockdown reopening. I heard that it's a little more inspired by life coming back.
Like about 3 months before lockdown, it was like, hey, we should maybe do this again. Like, yeah. It was like, okay. And then like, and then for most of those I wrote the beats and like I had a blower. I'm just like, I'm making these beats. Just like it would be stuff where I'd be sending to me like, he'd be like, that's cute. And I'm like, that's cute, you like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how to take that.
Or even like, it's just like, it'd be like, I hate this. Like, okay, cool, but why do you hate this?
Right, be constructive with your criticism. Come on.
Yeah, so he would just come over and I'd be like, okay, like, do you like these drums? Okay, cool. Do you like this bass line? Okay, do you like this little stabbing? You don't like this little stuff. All right, we use a different stabbing notes. And then we just kind of did that way. I mean, even, a couple of them, like the interlude on Motherland 1, like he just did that a cappella and then I put the music afterwards. Nice. And then for Light Work, we just looped like a drum beat and then I was just like, cool, I'm just gonna like make a song.
Yeah.